Most people still think crypto adoption comes from hype, memes, and price pumps. But over the past 24 hours, something far more important happened. A major global power quietly confirmed it's building a regulated crypto framework. Not to ban it, not to test it, but to use it. And once you understand what Russia just announced, you'll realize this isn't about speculation anymore. It's about who controls financial rails in the next decade. Most headlines will frame this as just another regulatory update. That's a mistake. Because what Russia has just outlined is not a restriction, it's an admission. Crypto is no longer optional. Here's what actually happened. Over the past day, Russian financial authorities confirmed a new crypto framework scheduled to roll out in stages through 2026. This framework allows individuals, institutions, and regulated entities to legally interact with digital assets under clearly defined rules. That might sound technical, but in financial terms, it's seismic. Russia has spent years being cautious, restrictive, even hostile toward crypto. Now it's doing the opposite. It's building structure. And structure is what institutional capital requires before it moves. This isn't about Russia suddenly liking crypto. It's about necessity. Global finance is changing. Cross-border settlement is too slow. Legacy systems are too expensive. Sanctions, fragmentation, and capital controls have exposed how fragile traditional rails really are. And crypto solves problems legacy finance can't. This is why this moment matters. When a country like Russia moves from ambiguity to formal frameworks, it signals something deeper. Crypto has crossed the line from experiment to infrastructure. Let's be very clear about what this framework represents. This is not a retail-focused move. This is not about letting people trade meme coins. This is about regulated access, compliant usage, and institutional oversight. Those are the exact conditions banks, funds, and payment entities require. In other words, this is not crypto going mainstream. This is crypto going institutional, and that changes everything. Because institutions don't move the way retail does. They don't chase price. They don't act emotionally. They position years in advance. When regulation appears, institutions don't ask, should we buy? They ask, how do we integrate? This is where most people misunderstand regulation. Retail fears it. Institutions wait for it. Regulation is not the enemy of crypto adoption. Uncertainty is. And Russia just removed uncertainty. Now zoom out. Russia isn't acting in isolation. This announcement comes at the same time other major jurisdictions are outlining timelines, frameworks, and compliance standards. The UK has done it. The EU has done it. The US is moving toward it. Asia has already implemented it. This isn't coincidence. It's convergence. Global finance is aligning around one conclusion. Crypto is here, and it needs rules. And once rules exist, capital follows. Here's where the story gets even more interesting. This framework doesn't exist to encourage speculation. It exists to enable utility, settlement, liquidity, cross-border value transfer, tokenized assets, financial infrastructure. That's where the real volume lives. This is also why certain digital assets quietly become more relevant in these conversations than others, not because of hype, but because of design. Institutions care about speed, cost, predictability, and compliance. They don't care about narratives. They care about systems that work inside existing financial architecture. This is why regulatory clarity doesn't create instant price explosions. It creates positioning. First comes legal clarity, then infrastructure decisions, then pilot programs, then integration, then dependency. By the time price reacts, the groundwork is already finished. That's why people waiting for confirmation are always late. Now let's address the question. Most people aren't asking, but should be. Why would Russia want crypto infrastructure in the first place? The answer is simple. Control and efficiency. Legacy rails are slow, expensive, and externally dependent. Crypto-based systems allow value to move with fewer intermediaries, lower costs, and greater flexibility. For any country thinking long-term about financial sovereignty, that matters. This doesn't mean abandoning fiat. It means modernizing how fiat moves, and crypto is the bridge. This is also why you should pay attention to how regulation is written, not just that it exists. Frameworks focused on banning activity kill innovation. Frameworks focused on structuring activity enable growth. Russia's approach falls into the second category. This is not crypto being pushed out of the system. This is crypto being absorbed into it. And absorption is far more powerful than rebellion. Now let's talk about what this means for investors and observers. It does not mean prices go up tomorrow. It does not mean guaranteed returns. It does not mean every asset benefits equally. What it means is this. The era of crypto as a regulatory outsider is ending. The era of crypto as regulated financial infrastructure is beginning. And that transition favors assets, platforms, and networks designed to operate inside systems, not outside them. This is why institutional adoption always looks boring at first. There are no fireworks, no viral moments, just documents, committees, frameworks, and timelines. But that's how finance actually moves. By the time headlines say institutions are here, they've already been here for years. This is the phase we're in right now. Quiet positioning, structural alignment, regulatory lock-in, and Russia's announcement confirms that this is not a Western trend, an Eastern trend, or a regional experiment, it's global. So if you're watching crypto purely through price action, you're missing the story. If you're waiting for retail excitement, you're already late. The real signal is regulation turning into infrastructure. And that signal just got stronger. This is not financial advice. This is context. Because the biggest shifts in finance don't begin with hype. They begin with paperwork. And when the paperwork is done, the system changes quietly. Then all at once.